And we're live with another episode of BS Buster. And with that being said, there's nothing else to say except, I mean, it's time to talk about, the stuff we need to talk about. Before we do, I'm going to let the other members of the podcast introduce themselves. So, who wants to go first?
Pinks, you get this one.
Oh, okay. This is Pinky Dot from Video Game Facts. And before we get to talk about the main topic of this podcast, we're going to be discussing some news articles that came out this week. And boy, I've got one that is a real doozy.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll do it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is your Eli Moonstar, the Gaming Mage, and it's about time we get into some sad history of thinking. But first, Mr. Red Fox, take it away.
It's me, Mr. Red Fox, the owner proprietor of BS Busters, and we're about to talk about the news of the week, all of it leading to our main topic, which is going to be us talking about Octopath Traveler. But we gotta wade through some bullshit before we get to the sweet. So let's get the news of the week out of the way first.
Let's see. First off, let's talk about the one I posted on VGF this morning. The fact that Aliens Colonel Marines had a single typo in its coding that caused the AI be completely ludicrous. Yes. And some guy from Reset ERA, the spiritual successor to NeoJaf, fixed the typo and tried it and tested it out, and all the AI for the Xenomorphs started to become better than the initial final release content.
It's sad to hear that when one typo could cause so much of a mess.
Yep. And if it weren't for the typo, Alien Colonel Marines wouldn't get this much backlash as it has now.
I disagree. I think it still would have been a steaming pile of dog doo-doo. A steaming pile of, and I don't mean like a little Chihuahua dog doo-doo or like one of those little dogs. I mean like a Saint Bernard, Great Dane, like if you stepped into it, you'd be like, oh God, no.
Beep it.
Basically, yeah, you'd be cussing and calling people names. What I'm saying is that I don't think a game can be good or bad because of one flaw, because most games have some type of flaw and you kind of let them go, if the overall game, if the core of the game is good or bad. Colonial Marines was a bad game regardless. It was shit. And the typo didn't help, but it still was a shitty game. And I stand by that. I stand by that because the game was shit. I stand by it. Still shit. It was shit then. It's still shit now. It's a shitty game, and I stand by it. I don't want anyone saying, "Oh no, it wasn't that." Yeah, it was shit. It was shit then. It's shit now. It was a shitty game, and that's it. That's all I got to say.
Yeesh.
And moving on to another news in regards to Yakuza's producer explaining why they will not be porting their games onto the Switch. The reason being is because the HD versions for 1 and 2 on the Wii U flopped.
I hear BS.
I think that's a very convenient reason to not put the game on the system. It's mighty convenient, and that's all I'll say on that.
As I said, BS.
And one of our contributors did a video ranting about the Yakuza devs' decision on not bringing in the series onto the Switch. And I was reading the comments from that video, and one of them made me lose some brain cells.
How dumb is it?
Oh, I'll read it. I'll read it along for you guys. Yakuza Studio are the greatest video game developer on earth, but they are clearly in the business of hard-boiled and unapologetic works for older males. Everybody and his dog knows that Nintendo has been neglectful and hostile towards that very demographic pretty much consistently since they entered the industry. The Yakuza series was even pitched and offered directly to Nintendo, and surprise, surprise, they turned it away. It was Sony who, thank goodness, saw the immense potential. Many Yakuza obsessives, myself included, are actually breathing in a sigh of relief at this news. A Western release of a series on a family-centric Nintendo platform has the dangerous potential to invite unwelcome censorship and artistic restraint to the series overall. Nintendo is not the place for Yakuza, and can only blame Nintendo for it, Harmon. They made this bet on these kinds of games long ago.
I have a question, just a small, slight question. I don't remember. Like, I'm a huge Yakuza fan. As anyone can tell you, I'm a huge Yakuza fan. I know quite a bit about the game. I've never heard that the game was pitched to Nintendo.
Yeah, this is the first time I've heard about it as well.
I've never heard that. And I know quite a bit about Yakuza. Like I said, I'm a huge Yakuza fan. I may be the biggest Yakuza fan you've ever seen. I am an insane Yakuza fan. Like, I have all the games, all the games they brought over. I don't have the 2 Yakuza games that are set in feudal Japan, because those games never came to America because, they didn't localize them. But the other Yakuza games I did bring over. So, I even have Dead Souls, Yakuza Dead Souls, which is basically like a zombie game where instead of you punching and kicking and beating the shit out of enemies, you use guns, lots and lots of guns. So I'm kind of familiar with Yakuza, and I've never heard of them pitching the game to Nintendo. I'm not, I've never heard of that one. I'm not entirely sure that,
Yeah, either this guy's either making stuff up or a Sony fanboy.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think he's making stuff up, and I think he's a Sony fanboy, because I've never heard that one. Now, to be fair, could that have happened? Maybe, but you have to remember, Yakuza came about in the 6th gen. It was on the PlayStation, and Sega was coming off of losing a ton of money on the Dreamcast. So, do I think the first few Yakuza games were probably money-hatted by Sony? Could be, but I could be wrong. What the hell do I know? I'm just a guy who likes games where you can curb stomp a dude with a bike, as you can do in Yakuza. So, I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. So, yeah. Anyone have any other thoughts? I don't want to be the only one who.
I'm trying to not rage, but here goes. Seriously, people, Yakuza for the Switch would have been a good idea. And if anything, it's not a bad game. Not at all, really. But seriously, whoever thinks that the Yakuza was saved by Sony, and yet should stay with Sony, even though the other two Even though Nintendo actually displayed the other Yakuza games, I think they're full of BS.
Well, I mean, the hilarious thing about the whole thing is that he's like, well, we're not going to put Yakuza on a Nintendo system because the one on the Wii U didn't sell well. Well, here's what I have to say to that. Okay, Yakuza has always been a niche franchise. It's not for everyone. It's you got to be a special person to want to play a game that lets you curb stomp the shit out of people for no apparent reason. It's not a very easy to get into title. I love it.
It's a specialized game.
It's a beat 'em up, okay, and beat 'em ups are not for everybody, and that's okay. I mean, not every game should be for everyone. But Yakuza 1 and 2, or should I say Yakuza Kiwami, like that game originally was re-released for the PS3 and the PS4. It was the Yakuza 1 and 2 collection, basically, updated in a new engine. Okay, that game is, how can I put this? That game came out for the PlayStation in Japan for like $20, and yet for the Wii U it was like $40. So they were charging 100% more for the same game, basically. So what the hell did they think was going to happen? Like, I don't.
Come on.
I'm getting Yakuza 0 for the PC, which, I mean, I wonder, like, I mean, this guy's not saying anything when it's coming to the PC.
It's not.
Like, he didn't say anything.
And the statement is also not helping Sega either, as a whole.
Well, I mean, it's Sega. I mean, look, listen. Let's keep it real, okay? Sega has not been in a good position for a long
ages,
long time. All right. So at this point, it's just, you just got to do the best you can. I mean, I like Sega, but I mean, they haven't been in a good position financially for a while. So.
Yeah. Excuse me for a moment. I need to for a bit. Because I got DC'd twice.
What?
I got DC'd twice in 2 ranked battles.
I don't know.
And my rank took a suffering for it.
All right, talking about Splatoon 2.
You got dropped? You got dropped twice?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I mean, don't forget, Nintendo's going to start charging you for that online service. Oh, man.
So I'm pretty sure it's going to be for some bonus optional content for your online experience.
Let me put it this way: if you're charging people for an online service and they're getting dropped, I'm sorry, you need to make your online service better. Because once you start charging people for the shit, a lot of stuff that people used to be able to get away with, you can't do anymore. Okay, that's just that's them's the breaks, as we say. So.
Thank you for putting salt on the already injured.
No, look, listen, I didn't tell Nintendo to charge people.
I know. If anything, it's all these idiots that push Nintendo to that point.
I mean, if you're, like I said, if you're charging people for online, that's your business. You can do whatever the hell you want. But when you start charging people for online, the quality of your online needs to get better. And your services, your online services need to get better. Problem with Nintendo is that their online services are, meh. I know people are going to get mad. How dare you say that? I love my Nintendo Online. Look, listen, if it's free, you can say, okay, it's not the best, but I'm not, they're not charging me for anything. But when you start charging people, it needs to be better. It's like complimentary bread versus bread that's been baked specifically for
The meal.
The meal, right? It's like complimentary bread doesn't have to be great. It's just there to kind of fill you up a little bit, so that when the meal comes, if it's too little, you got something. You don't have a huge amount of food, but it's really tasty, right?
Right.
And that's kind of like where like once you start charging people, your quality has to go up. And that's where they kind of mess up. So. But hey, what do I know? I'm just some guy. So
let's move on to other news. Nintendo of Europe has a new CEO.
Yeah, they got rid of. Well, they didn't get rid of him. I think they moved him to the main. What's his name? Shit.
To the main HQ in Japan.
Yeah, I think they moved him to the main HQ in Japan, which I'm not angry about. I really don't care either way. I'm glad they gave him something to do, because I mean that dude's kind of been, Europe is a tough place to get off the ground, because that's like Nintendo's weakest market. Like the US and Japan are their strongest, but literally like their weakest is
Europe,
because
it's very Sega/Sony bias.
Well, Sega maybe in the 90s, but now it's Sony. So and people really like Sony. I don't know why in Europe, but I guess just Sony kind of built that market up. So it's theirs to do with what they please. So.
I wonder if Koji Miyake will turn the tables for Nintendo of Europe. Like break the cycle of Nintendo of Europe being Nintendo's weakest market.
Maybe not. I mean, I don't know.
I doubt it. Well,
like Sony is so entrenched. Like Sony would have to mess up. It's kind of like how Sony basically took over the U.S. market, because the U.S. market used to be
Nintendo versus Sega before Sony came in and dropped the PlayStation in.
No, I was gonna say it used to be Microsoft's market. So I don't know if they can hold on to it. You know what I mean? Like, because when Microsoft messed up with the Xbox One launch, it kind of,
that's
Sony took over took over this market. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know if, I think the only way Nintendo could take over Europe is if Sony messes up with their next console. Because I don't think anytime soon, as long as the PS4 is running, they're going to be able to really take over Europe. Even with the Switch, I don't see it happening. But
or dare I say, cater to the demands and needs from European Nintendo fans, who are much more vocal than the U.S. Nintendo fans and Japanese Nintendo fans.
Yeah, but European Nintendo fans make up like 10% of all Nintendo gamers. It's their smallest market, so I don't.
And yet, some of them get the best items.
Yeah, I mean, you're the smallest market, and yet you get the best shit. I don't get it, but whatever. So I don't know. I mean, it could work, it could not work. I don't know, but I bid the guy good luck. I hope he can make this. I hope he can make the system, if not a success, but useful, so people will like it. because it's a good system. I mean, like Nintendo has good systems. Like they have the 3DS, which is a good handheld system. Maybe not perfect, but I mean, there is no perfect system. Okay, maybe the Super Nintendo, but aside from that, there is no perfect system aside from the Super Nintendo. So, I wish the guy good luck, but I mean,
He's gonna
gonna
be a
need it.
while.
He's gonna need it because, like I said, it's their weakest market.
Yeah.
Moving on, it's just been announced that the Mega Man X Legacy Collection will have a Rookie Hunter / Easy mode.
I could see that because some people find Mega Man games hard.
But I'm expecting a backlash, just like what happens when they announce Mega Man 10 having its own easy mode.
No, I don't think there's going to be a backlash. The only reason I say that is because they give you the option to not use it. If it was like, okay, you have to play the game on easy mode in order to unlock other modes, then I'd be like, okay, there's going to be a problem. But if it's just like, hey, this is a mode for people who might find this game too hard. Because to be fair, Mega Man X 1 and 2 are kind of like have a decent difficulty curve. But Mega Man
10?
No, Mega Man X 3, like it gets unnecessarily hard. Like enemies do more damage. Like even if you touch them, they do more damage. Not if you get hit by an attack. If they just touch you, it's ridiculous. Like it's not like Mega Man 3 is not quite as well made as the other two. And then Mega Man 4 comes along, which is a little bit better. And then Mega Man 3, which is just then Mega Man 5, where everything just hits the thing because they add all these characters that no one gives a shit about. It's like Axel. I don't like Axel. Fuck him.
Though to be fair, Mega Man X3 is harder because the game requires you to play as Zero more often.
No, you're not required to play as Zero in 3. Like you don't have to use Zero if you don't want to. If you so choose.
Yeah, but you can only use them once per level, though.
Yeah, but you don't have to use them as a character, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're forced to use the character.
At least they don't make you feel like that you're being cheapskate, being insulted for going easy mode. And if you wonder what I'm meaning, can I play Daddy Wolfenstein?
I could see that.
Well, I'm more concerned about the same people who complain about Mega Man X having an easy mode, Mega Man 10 having an easy mode, complaining about Rookie Hunter because they want the newer generation to play their game, the games they grew up with the same way they did.
But you have the option. It's not like they're forcing you to play it on easy mode. As long as they give you the option, then it is what it is. Now, if they locked the easy mode behind, like if they locked the normal mode of playing the game behind an easy mode, then I'd say, okay, that's messed up. But no, they give you the option to play it easier, just like, or play it the normal way. So, I don't think there's going to be a big backlash. I think more people should be pissed about the fact that on the Switch, like you buy the game, but then you got to download the other half of the game because Capcom's too damn cheap to spare
some coins.
To splurge on a damn 16 gigabyte cartridge. Bastards. Because they did like the size of all the games digitally is like 13 gigs, which means if they just got a
little bit more,
if they got a double, because the average cartridge size for a Switch cartridge is 8 gigs. If they just splurged for a 16 gig, it'd be, And that's like $7. I mean, that's how cheap Capcom is right now. It's ridiculous, man.
And if I remember right, they also C&D'd a project T. I think that's right for the PC earlier.
I don't know what you're talking. Oh no, that's Konami.
Oh, that's my goof.
Yeah, that was Konami did that. No, Capcom's just like they're just cheap. They're just really fucking cheap. Like everyone keeps on thinking, well, they're not going to put Monster Hunter. They're not bringing Monster Hunter over on the Switch. I think they didn't have the money to bring Monster Hunter over on the Switch.
I was thinking that Sony bit all their coin to do that.
I mean, it's like people have forgotten that, like,
Nintendo saved the Monster Hunter series.
Capcom has had 3 games come out over the last 3 years that have bombed. Okay, they had
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter 5 bombed. Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. Or sorry, Capcom versus Marvel Infinite bombed. Then they did the remaster arcade collection. Bombed. Like they had to basically push that game back in Japan because the quality of the port was so shitty. Okay?
They had that much BS with their anniversary game.
Think about it. That's like if Nintendo re-released a Super Mario, like they do a new Super Mario Brothers All-Stars, right? Super Mario All-Stars, except it includes not only the 2D games but the 3D games up to like Mario World, okay?
And yet they
Super Mario
somehow
3D
made it
World.
buggy.
Okay, and yet somehow they mess up the ports. Like, I mean, Nintendo wouldn't do that, but that's like if Nintendo did that, that'd be a very messed up situation to be in. Which is
there would be a riot.
Well, that's what we have with Capcom. Like their core franchises, they're messing up. Like Street Fighter. I mean, I don't know how you like. That's like their core franchise. Like when people think Capcom, they think Street Fighter, and they messed that up. So
twice.
I mean, well, 3 times actually. So I mean, what can we say except they're not in good shape. So
yeah,
I know some people are going to get mad. They're going to be like, "But I like Street Fighter." It didn't bother me to play that shitty game. Well, bothered me. Bothered me to play it. So, who wants to go next? What other news topics?
I do have one more gaming news. Nintendo's going to be restocking all of the Smash Brothers amiibos at the same price, $12. Whereas the new amiibos for Smash Ultimate, the Inkling amiibo, Ridley amiibo, and Wolf amiibo will cost $3 more.
So 15.
Yeah.
That seems kind of bullshit to me, but
I was about to say that bites, but I can understand a little bit.
I mean, yeah, but it's basically like you're not getting additional functionality with the amiibo. It's basically the same functionality you've been getting. So why does it cost more?
Probably has to do with the quality purposes. Because you know how cheap looking the amiibos from the first Smash amiibos were when during the first wave.
No, I'm not. I'm not aware of how cheap they looked because they looked fine to me. Of course, I'm not one of those people who has to have every fucking amiibo. And you know who I'm talking about.
Those completionists.
Those people who have to have every amiibo, no matter what. Like, the people who, like, wake up late so that they can get amiibo because they're just addicted to having them. I'm not that guy, so I think that, I mean, it's not a lot, but if you're a completionist, I mean, that's still kind of shitty, charging people more for the new stuff. I mean, I'm guessing the manufacturing processes are the same. I don't see why it would be more expensive, but What do I know? I'm just a cheap bastard.
Or
So.
it probably has something to do with the increase in inflation.
Nah, let's just say they're fucking greedy and keep on moving on. Which, I mean, look, Nintendo's a company; they want to make money, but I'm not gonna not accuse them of trying to
grab a
milking
little extra
people.
coin.
Yeah, trying to get a little extra on the side. So
With that, I'm pretty much stocked out of news.
I guess then we can get to my topics, my newsworthy topics for the BS Busters. Let's see here. We have some good stuff here. Let me go and get it. Go and get it. I had it up, and then something happened.
Lost it.
Are you talking about my article about my dream crossover game idea?
Well, that's one of the topics we were going to cover, but here we go right here. Yeah. But first, some instead of op-eds, we already covered the Yakuza thing, which is just bullshit. But James Olin leaves BioWare. Now, if you don't know who James Olin is, he's the guy who basically made some of the best BioWare games. He was one of the main guiding forces of making some of the best BioWare games that people ever know. Like he worked on Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights and Jade Empire and Mass Effect 1, 2, 3. And he also worked on Mass Effect Andromeda. But I mean, hell, the rest of his shit was pretty good. So yeah, another veteran who made great games leaves BioWare. So I think at this point we can all agree that Anthem's fucked. I think if you are a BioWare fan and you like their games,
Anthem is totally effed.
Yeah, Anthem is not going to be
in a good shape.
Is not going to be a good game.
I already called Anthem not being good since last year when it was first announced because EA.
Yeah, but that's too easy. It's too easy to say, well, it's because of EA, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, when you see the exodus of all the talent, like all the people who make your games good are leaving, and the people that are left are the shitty ones, like Mike Casey.
Then there's a problem.
Yeah, it was totally okay to use the Frostbite engine. The Frostbite engine, which anyone will tell you is not really good for certain types of gameplay. But it is what it is. So, I guess we can move on to the next topic. I mean, you guys have any other thoughts about it before we move on to the next topic?
Nope.
I'm all right.
All right. So I guess we can move on to the next topic, which is, oh, yeah, I already put that up there. I put it up there twice. Damn. I guess we can move on to one of the fun topics, which is Pinky Don's dream crossover with Mario and Pokemon.
I've been thinking about this crossover for years now, like since when I was in college.
Yeah, I could tell from the article. I was like, wow, you really
put some effort in there.
Into it. Yeah, like a full on almost essay on it. Yeah.
Yes, I put all my passion toward this idea, more so than my other crossover ideas.
Well, it's always good to have passion.
And of course, I just read your response, and you didn't like it.
I just said I didn't want it to be like.
No, it's definitely not going to be Kingdom Hearts territory. I promise you that. Like
Kingdom Hearts, because I don't really like crossovers unless they're done well. Like I would do a Pokemon crossover if it could cross over with, say, Dragon Quest Monsters. That'd be cool. But
or Monster Hunter.
That's the thing. I don't like Monster Hunter. I find it to be a little vacuous and insipid. But I know some people really like it. And tedious. My God.
It depends.
Very, very tedious. For me, Monster Hunter is one of the most tedious games I've ever played before in my life. Like, fuck. We get it. I've got to hunt monsters in order to get shit. I get it. But, but yeah, I read it. I mean, hey, if it makes you happy to talk about it, we'll give you a forum to talk about it.
Thanks.
So.
So anyway, it can go. The crossover could go into two ways. Either it's gonna play like the Super Mario 3D Land / 3D World games, or it'll play like the mainline Pokemon games, but with Mario enemies slapped into them.
Okay.
And of course, the plot premise is very big, is simple. Bowser is stealing Pokemon and using them to build his own army, and you have to stop him at all costs. But you also have to get through his minions first.
So it would be like standard plot, except you'd have Pokemon instead of, Mario.
Of
or
course.
Mario could be a playable character, kind of like. I mean, that could work. I don't think you should have all 100. You shouldn't have all 700 plus Pokemon.
No, it's not gonna. It's gonna be limited to a certain amount of Pokemon from various generations.
No, that could work. Yeah.
Because it's going to be taking place on a different. Because for the mainline Pokemon idea, it's going to take place on its own region with its own roster of Pokemon.
I could see that. That could work. That could.
As for Mario being playable, that's for the Mario platformer style idea, where you get to play as Mario, Luigi, Pikachu, and Eevee.
And I can already hear somebody huffing and puffing about that.
Is this going to have power-ups?
Yeah, there will be power-ups.
Power-ups. Well, I mean, how can I put this? This sounds like a really good idea, but I think it would be better if instead of a Mario crossover, if it was a
crossover with another JRPG franchise like Dragon Quest.
No, I was going to say Kirby.
Oh, okay.
It would probably work better with Kirby because then the power-ups would be Pokemon.
Which
so you could play as
is morbid and yet funny at the same time. I can get that.
Like you have like a 2D version of like if it was a 2D platformer like Kirby Superstar or Ultra Star or Return to Dreamland or Planet
Robobot or Star Allies.
Yeah, something like that, where basically like you can have kind of both like the Pokemon world and the Kirby world, and you could play as like when you play as Kirby. Like Kirby can just suck and blow, but he can also, he can swallow enemies and take their abilities. So that's his move set. But let's say you're playing as Pikachu. Like Pikachu would have his or her. I guess I don't know. Pokemon's
it depends on the tail shape.
Yeah, but they added that after the fact. Like it was always just kind of like Pikachu was kind of gender neutral anyway. So we didn't know and no one really cared. But for the sake of talking about this, I'm going to say him, even though we didn't know for the longest time until they retconned, well, it's the tail shape. Well, all those other fucking times where we didn't know shit.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go with that. I'm just going to say him for the sake of talking about it, even though it's gender neutral and we don't know. But basically, like it's a 2D platformer. You have running, jumping, attacks. Maybe as a power-up, you could keep the experience system for the Pokemon, and they can level up. And then once they get a certain amount of experience, they can evolve. if they're a Pokemon that evolves through getting experience. If it's a Pokemon that has to evolve from, you know, a stone or special circumstances, then I don't know how you handle that. Maybe a cutscene in the game that you have to get a special item or something. I don't know. But yeah, it sounds like it could work. I mean, I wouldn't do Mario just because, like, there's just too much other like baggage hung up with it. Kind of like Mario has to be a certain way, but the rest of them, yeah, it'd totally work. I'd totally play that game.
Yeah, I understand how you're feeling. It's just me hoping that the two franchises would one day cross over each other, so that way we can, and maybe someday we might get a Pokemon movie that crosses over with the Mario series, having Ash and Pikachu teaming up with Mario to stop Bowser.
No.
That'd be too much.
That'd be too much. For me, that'd be too much. It's like, no, not unless I get to see Bowser grab Pikachu and eat him. That'd be cool. Ash, catch him, go up there. If you have training day, a training day montage where Ash Ketchum shows up there with his Pikachu. I'm here to help. Mario's like, this shit's for real, son. This dude's dropping bombs. He's killing people. You come up with a fucking lightning rat? Get out of here right now. Get out. But I've got a Pikachu. And like Bowser just grabs Pikachu and eats him. Oh, you brought hors d'oeuvres. That's nice.
Oh.
That's delicious. I'm enjoying eating your Pikachu. Seeing Ash catch him. Now we could have that scene from Pokemon the movie where Ash starts crying, but it makes sense because Bowser just ate his Pikachu, his invincible Pikachu that can thunder shock rock type.
Take on legendary. Took on pseudo legendaries.
Thunder shock a rock type, which makes no goddamn sense. But hey, it's the movie. I'm just joking, but yeah. If that makes you happy to hope for that crossover, you know, it's your crossover. You can do whatever you want to with it.
Yeah. Any other topics?
Yeah, I guess it's time to move on to the main topic. So now we got to talk about the elephant in the room. The reason we're here. The main topic of this entire podcast, which is, of course, Octopath Traveler. So,
in a way, I'm going to be saying this first. Octopath Traveler is pretty neat.
Yeah. I've been enjoying the game very much. It's damn good. It's astonishingly good.
It's a treat.
It's one of those games that's much better than it has any business being. It's like this game is,
and from the people that made Lightning Returns, no less.
I guess they made Lightning Returns. The team,
as in the company that made it.
If I remember correctly, well, yeah, the company. Well, not really. They published it. The studio that made it is Siliconera. They're the people that did Bravely Default and Bravely Second. And I can't prove this, but the way this game plays, I think a lot of these same people also worked on the Romancing Saga series, because there's a lot of cues in this game that take a lot of cues from Romancing Saga, especially Romancing Saga 3.
If it was made by the guys who did the Bravely series, don't tell me that it too has microtransactions.
No, it does not. And I think those microtransactions were foisted on them by Squaresoft because they were like, we got a hot game. Let's make extra money off of it. It's like, why don't you just make a good game and then, you know, whatever.
Work from there, right?
Yeah. Bastards.
I see.
But
you on?
So, what are your guys' thoughts about it? I mean, obviously.
Cool.
Well, I have yet to play it. I'm still busy playing Rocket League, the event at least, the third anniversary event.
Well, fine then. I'll give my thoughts on it. This game is really good. The only thing my initial thought, the only thing I'm going to say about the initial thoughts is that I'm tired of people saying that this game is is basically Final Fantasy. It is not Final Fantasy. It plays like a SquareSoft RPG, but it's not Final Fantasy. I'll tell you that much right now.
You said it yourself. It plays more like a romantic saga game.
Yeah, it's more romancing saga than Final Fantasy. The only thing that makes it kind of similar to Final Fantasy, in my opinion, is
the class changes.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's only like 12 classes in the game, so it's not like the classes are really going to be like, or really going to make that much of a difference in a lot of the setting, the combats and stuff in the game, because they aren't.
I see.
So, yeah. So I guess now we can get into, even though you haven't played it, I'm just going to say some things. They're kind of spoiler-ish, but not story. They're more gameplay mechanics than storyline-wise. Basically, in the game, you have 8 playable characters. Each character has a distinctive class, classical RPG classes. You have a warrior class, you have a thief class, you have a cleric class, you have a dancer class, which also uses dark magic. You have a physician who can use, oh shit. How's it going, Sprite?
Good. I've been waiting for this moment my entire life. I'm just playing.
I've been waiting my entire life for this moment. It's my time to shine. You sound like Naruto. Believe it. But yeah, Octopath Traveler. Here's all I'm going to say. I guess we can get into tips and tricks, especially for people who haven't played it yet. Here's some tips and tricks for you. Okay, in the beginning of the game, you choose one of 8 characters to start down their path. Then you can go and recruit other characters to basically join your party, and level up and level them up too. Then you go and do their chapters too. So basically, if you want to do really well in this game, play through other characters' chapters. Okay, level up. You're gonna have to grind a bit, if you will. But it's not unmanageable. It's like, oh my god, I had to grind. This game's terrible. It's like, okay, if I want to get to this point in the game, I have to do a little bit of grinding.
I thought it wasn't too bad though for like grinding purposes in this game. I don't think it's not too bad, especially if it's like, a certain level. It's like, this particular area about to go to is like the recommended level. I might be like 3 or 4 below that recommended level, but
yeah,
I walk around and like I time myself. I set a time on my phone, maybe like a half hour, and be like, okay, level up, and then I'll be ready to go on my way.
I've been
saving in between.
I've been hearing that video game critics who reviewed this game did not actually completed it because all of them mentioned how they weren't able to get into the final dungeon, which is where all of the 8 stories converge.
Well, it was one guy. It was one guy who said, like, it was like, because everyone else admitted, I put like 50 hours in this game. I've gotten pretty far. I haven't beaten it yet. But this one guy's like, yeah, I beat it in 36 hours. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like, there's no way you beat this game in 36 hours. I don't.
Yeah, I'm not even close to that because I'm only done like I've done like 3 chapter 2 stories out of the 8 characters. I'm just only at 21 hours.
I've done 2 chapter 2 stories, and that's because they took place in the same city. It was Tressa and Cyrus's. Because
I did the same thing.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, like Ulbricht's my main character, and right now he's kind of over-leveled for his chapter, but I haven't done his chapter yet because I'm still like exploring, and I found all the little. Okay, here's your second tip. There are 8 shrines in the little beyond areas that basically let you take on a secondary job. Okay, that are the other 8 subclasses that belong to the other classes that belong to the other characters. And this basically is what lets you in the game dual class so that you can learn new abilities that complement and skills that complement what your primary class is. So, for example, making Tressa into a magic user is great because if you max out her mercenary skill where she can have how much SP she uses for all her special attacks, oh my god.
She can spell slam.
Yeah, she can. Oh, Jesus. She is ridiculous. She's like, I will kill all of you right now. And plus she has rest so she can restore her SP. Oh my god. This woman is insane.
She can kick A.
Good old dual cast.
She's like, I will fucking kill you. Why? I didn't do anything. It's because I don't like your face.
Good one.
But
yeah, I started with Therian in the demo that came out last month. So that's pretty much what I've been working with the most. He's like level 31 right now.
Therian. That's a thief, right?
Yep.
The thief, yeah, he's great. I like him because he just steals everything. With him, it's just like I'm stealing this. Hey, that's my teeth.
Too much.
I'm stealing your teeth too, bitch. You can't do that. Look, man, I'm a thief. I steal everything. All your shit is mine.
I was about to say,
all your bases are.
What has he stole? What has he stole that hasn't been interesting?
Basically, you can steal so much shit in this game. It's literally not even funny. It's not even funny. You just steal shit. It's like I'm stealing everything. You can't do that. I'm stealing this. I'm stealing your money. I'm stealing your precious locket. I'm stealing everything. You can't do that. I can do whatever I want.
And from anybody too. It can be children. It can be elderly.
Yeah, you can steal from old people. I mean, he's kind of an asshole. Really. I feel kind of bad playing as him because he's kind of an asshole. But yeah, basically, I would advise anyone in this game: dual class in this game. Please dual class. If you do not dual class in this game, you're not gonna have fun.
It is also necessary to defeat tougher bosses.
What, dual classing?
Yeah.
No. The only reason dual classing is really important is because you can't optimize your character's stat growth and abilities. Because basically, the secondary class you give them complements their other abilities really well. So it kind of works out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, like basically Tressa is a merchant. She learns rest, which lets her essentially heal herself and restore HP. SP, which is basically the magic power in this game, and special points, and then SP and HP, and basically you can just heal. Basically, if you know how to, once you get her passive abilities up, which like halves how much SP she uses with attacks, you make her into a magic user on top of that. It's pretty ridiculous. With Therian, I guess you could make him into a thief. I don't know. I haven't really.
I'm still playing around. So
do the characters change outfits when dual classing?
No,
they slightly do. Slightly.
I see.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, it's not like in Octopath. It's not like in Bravery Default where it's like, oh, you get a different job. It's like you go from basically your default costume to you're looking like a white mage. So it's nothing. It's nothing that over the top.
No, it's not like that. It's more like
change your clothes on a regular day.
Yeah, but they still look like the way they would look normally, kind of like that. Do I want to make? No, I don't want to make Ulbrich into a mage.
My sword is on bend.
But the game, like I said, the game is really good. It's really well made. It's astonishingly well made for what the game has going on in it. And once the game really opens up, which at this point I've opened up maybe half of the map, but not all of it because there's still a lot of shit that I still have to open up. But game's really good. It's insanely good. Finding one of finding some dungeons to kind of do dungeon hunting at, to raise lower level characters levels up. So basically, like if you have a level 14 character in your party and you have a dungeon that's like level 25, 20, 25, take their asses in there so that they can get some experience and level up so that, you know, you can make them useful. Constantly upgrade your character's skills and abilities so that they can learn new jobs. Oh, finally got Ulbrich to level 8.
Oh.
I mean,
excuse me.
Damn, dude. To 8,000 to 5,000 to 5,000 JP. So now I've completely unlocked all of Ulbrich's abilities, including Brand's Thunder, which is unleash a tremendous powerful sword attack on a single foe. It's ridiculously OP and it costs 30 SP, which means I can only do it twice, but fuck it. It looks cool.
It hurts.
What?
It hurts, but it works, right?
Yeah,
As it costs so much, but works so well.
I can't get mad about it. But I'm really enjoying this game. It's insanely good.
Glad they're breaking they're breaking the mold, man. Because from what you know, it's not the typical. Oh, hey, let's find 3 other party members and let's go save the world because it's all about friendship.
Yeah, the game is very different from your normal JRPG fare. You're not out to save the world. Each of these characters have their own thing going on. Like Ulbrich is trying to figure out why his former comrade in arms betrayed the king and friggin' went around, you know, killed the king, and like what caused it. Now apparently at the end of the game there's like all this stuff is connected in the background, but you have to get that far to get that point. So I don't know what's going on. I can piece together a few clues, but I don't know everything that's going on yet. But the game,
I must say, to me, it seems like it's to sum it up. It's like it takes more of like a realistic setting without being too over the top, and with that, or being too over the top with the fantasy. So it's like a good mix.
Basically,
like it's a lot like the characters, like their backgrounds, their story stuff is a lot more believable.
I won't say believable. I'll just say that they're a lot more. How can I put this? Like these characters seem to be more realized. Yeah. Like it's not we have to do this because the story, we need to move the story along. It's like Tressa wants to be a merchant, and as she goes around the world following these various characters story, she figures out okay, there's more to what's going on around here than just, you know,
what's on the surface.
Yeah, it's a life journey where she's discovering more about what's going on in the world around her. So that makes her into a more interesting character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat this dude with my pimp cane.
Tell me when you get to Primrosa's story.
Yeah, not gonna. Yeah, that's another pretty good character too. Not gonna spoil anything, but once you get done with chapter 1, it's so satisfying. Red Fox knows what I'm talking about.
I haven't done Primrose's second chapter yet.
I'm talking about chapter 1.
Oh yeah, chapter 1.
It's satisfying.
Primrose. Well, I mean, I won't say it's satisfying, but you do. Let me put it this way: Primrose gets to. Like here's what I like about this game. This game's localization is really fun because like, and they kind of have winks and nods. Like Primrose has an attack called Mole Dance. It's not really Mole Dance. It's supposed to be Pole Dance, but and the whole thing that this attack does is it hardens your defenses. That's how I figured out. It's like hardens your defense. I'm like, what does a mole have to do with hardening your defense? And then I was like, oh. Wait a second. Okay, yeah. And there's a squirrel type enemy in one part of the game that special attack is that it throws its nuts at you. But here's the thing, they're called these nuts. I'm like, you motherfucker. How dare you throw those nuts? How dare you throw your nuts at me?
Question. What were those news again?
These nuts. The only thing
mole
that made it better
faces the
is they called
fences,
it these
and
nuts.
the squirrel uses them nuts.
The only thing that would have made it better is if they'd have called it D's nuts. These nuts would have been better. These nuts would have been better, but they couldn't pull it off. They were like, no, we can't. We can't call it these nuts.
It's too trollish. It's too funny.
And this is why I believe that Primrose is best girl.
I won't say she's the best character, but I mean, like, here's the thing. Almost all the characters in this game are really interesting. I like even Therian, who's a thieving bastard. There's
a reason why I chose him, because it's the closest thing to we ever gonna get to seeing another Locke.
He'll steal from a little kid. I mean, he's just a real asshole. But he's a fun character. You know what I'm saying? He's fun.
Yeah.
He's a fun character to
That's
play.
why. That's the main reason why I went with him first. I'm like, you know what? This character reminds me a lot of Locke from Final Fantasy VI. I'm gonna choose him first.
Yeah, but Locke was like, I'm a treasure hunter. No, you're a thief. I am a treasure hunter. Like Therian's like, I'm a thief. he's totally, yeah, I'm a thief. I steal shit.
He's proud of it.
Yeah. I like Cyrus, the scholar, because he's totally oblivious that he's man bait for women. He's totally oblivious about it. He's like, well, I tend to keep myself together. I'm moderately attractive, and you go to his chapter, and he's like sitting there thinking about it in the marketplace, and he's like these two young ladies who are shopping turn and look at him, and they're just staring at him, and he walks off, and they swoon over him. I'm like, this bastard doesn't get it.
Yeah, literally the black mage.
Yeah, except he's a little bit better than a black mage because he's got that pimp cane. I call it the pimp cane.
It actually does damage, unlike the Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
Hey,
so yeah,
they gotta give him something.
Well,
that's why he's got that pimp cane.
Ophelia is basically the white mage, and her cane actually does damage. It's not like, in Final Fantasy you choose a white mage, you do a normal attack, it's like 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said that it does something. I didn't say how much.
But yeah, overall the game is really well made. It's like I said, if there was a flaw with the game, I'm not saying that there is, but if there is one flaw with the title, it's that okay, I don't want to do Tressa's chapter 3 because fuck. I'm not doing Tressa's chapter 3 because my god.
Is it difficult?
No, the hard level cap is like level 40, is like level 37, and I'm not at that high of a level yet for her.
Yeah, she's like 20. She's like 24.
Yeah, for me, she's level 20 something. Oh, let me check. She's level 29. So, like Cyrus is level 20 something. And, I mean, she's high level, but she's not ready for that attack. Platinum sword. Oh my god, this weapon is insanely powerful. Bastard sword. It's for bastards. Stop being a bastard.
Yeah, I can't figure out. I can't figure out a flaw with the game just yet.
The what?
I can't find any flaws yet. Then again, I'm not gonna really get out of review until I beat the main game and a little bit of the post main story. I know that's
going to be like 100. That's going to be like 100. That's going to be 100 hours. The only flaw thus far with the game is that it's a little grindy, and that you have to actually take party members out and level them up. You can't just you have to take them out and level them up. You can't just you
can't just let them sit in the background, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of shitty. Like, I don't think that's cool to do that to people.
I mean, at least with Xenoblade Chronicles, any inactive party members in your team can still level up even when they're not battling.
Yeah, that's the only flaw, but it's not that big of a flaw because basically, even when they're not leveling up, you can still give a character.
They're pretty generous in the experience points in this game.
Yeah, because really your level is important, but what's more important is unlocking skills and abilities and equipping better weapons whenever you go to a new town or something. So that's like the really important thing.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed is like with this game, just because you might not be able to afford the most powerful weapon that you see in a new area, but what you get right now is still pretty viable because the skills basically is a good supplement.
Yeah, the skills are almost more important than the
base weapons and shields and stuff.
Yeah, basically. Like the base and what you can find in thief chests that only thieves can open are like in some cases more important than the stuff you find,
in normal chests.
Yeah. So but yeah, overall the game is pretty damn good. I have no complaints about it.
Yeah, I'm doing side quests too along the way for like a new chapter. So
yeah, some of those side quests are kind of they give you no damn
hints.
It's just like, okay, I just got to figure this shit out.
Yeah, there's some secret. Yeah, there's some. Yeah, I've seen like 2 secret dungeons. It's probably just like secret bosses and stuff. But I've seen one that was like all my characters like level 20 something, and then it's like, oh, you enter this cave, it's like level 45. I'm like, the hell. No, don't dare. Let's not take that turn.
Yeah, but that's my only real beef about the game. Also, the whole reputation system sucks.
Oh, your reputation. Oh, yeah. Well, see, I haven't had to restore my reputation just yet. So
I have had to do that. It's not fun, but
what does your reputation do anyway?
It just lets you do things like steal from people and
yeah, it's like a percentage.
Yeah, and scrutinize people and charm people and guide them and stuff like that. The only character who can do his action without reputation is Ulbrich. Can challenge anyone without like if he fails a challenge, it doesn't mess with his reputation. And the doctor guy Alphen can inquire from people without his reputation taking a hit. But every other character, it's like, okay, scrutinize. I'm like, how can like he's a scholar. He's just using observation.
And yet you're getting your reputation shot for it.
But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I keep stop playing the game because either for bathroom breaks or have to eat.
But that's my only real downside is the reputation system and how grindy it is sometimes. But aside from that, pretty good.
Well, it's someone coming from Bravely Default. This is not as grindy as that game.
Yeah. Bravely Default was very grindy, like unnecessarily grindy.
Yeah, now like I mentioned, they always tease every time you got a new job. They always tease like the best ability, and then when you finally quit the job, it's like, oh, you need 999. I'm like,
you need to grind.
Yeah, and look, I have no problem grinding, but this is ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous.
There's work grinding, and then there's fun grind.
Yeah, I'm gonna break in this lady's church steal their shit. That sounds so terrible.
And the NPCs are so oblivious. It's like, like you talk to them and then you steal their shit. And then when you get done, you talk to them again, and they like just say the same thing. Like y'all so oblivious.
Hey, thanks for coming in my house and stealing my shit. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, there's actually I've seen one NPC that they actually wising up. Because I was in this one town, and basically, in typical JRPG, you pretty much just go to any house you want and just like talk to the people inside, or just let me get their items or whatever. But then this one dude was like, "You think you can just go barging into every house in town? Not this one." I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I'm the hero. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's my license. I barge into people. It's like that old thing with Link where he's like, some maniacs going into houses, breaking everybody's shit. He has to be stopped. Sight! That was my mother's urn. You bastard. Oh man.
If Mega 64 does something like that, oh my god.
Why'd you do that, you bastard? Damn. My god. My ultimate attack, I can only use at maximum boost, which just fucking sucks.
That does a lot. Yeah, it does pretty good damage too.
Don't worry, I'm gonna get maximum boost, and then I'm gonna use it. But first, I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it on this poor lady who owns an orphanage in a challenge. That's terrible. that sounds so bad. It's like, F you, lady.
What I do like about this game is like if the boss is charging up for their ultimate attack, you can see on the top that you have this many turns before they use it. It's not like in Bravery Default when sometimes it just happens out of pure random when you SOL.
Or if you got one of those certain RPGs, they have a turn counter, and when it's their turn, they pull off a move, and if it's their ultimate move that requires a charge, you at least know how much time you got to either prepare yourself or get that final punch in.
Basically.
Yeah, so I mean, the game's doing pretty good too. Like on the eShop, it's #1. And in Japan, there's like shortages of the physical copies.
Yeah, I got mine. I got mine here in America, so.
And they're sold out in Europe.
Oh, well, it must be
sold out in the one place that we insulted earlier.
Well, that's because they probably did a limited run in Europe because they probably didn't know if it was gonna do well or anything.
Europe is weird. Well, UK for that matter. They have weird taste in games.
Yeah, they keep on buying. They keep on buying
idiots.
FIFA, so I can't really.
Yeah.
Like if you buy FIFA, I just have no
respect.
I don't know. I have no respect for you as a gamer if you buy FIFA. If you buy FIFA every year over year, no matter what, I have zero respect for you. Sorry. I know some people are gonna get mad. Oh, but I like FIFA. Good for you. It's a shitty game. FIFA is shit. And I don't care if people get mad at me. Because it is. And if you keep on giving them your money for that game, I'm sorry, but you are part of the problem.
Especially if you get involved in those the mini game of the FIFA series,
which is
the microtransactions one that has all those beeping cards.
Yeah, but it's before that because they wouldn't have been able to add microtransactions if people didn't just keep on fucking buying it year in year out. Like it begins with the people who were just buying it just because. But anyway, yeah, this game is really good. For those of you who don't necessarily like these types of games, you know, you know, the only downside about the game that I'm just gonna say is about the title is, like I said, it's a little grindy. It's not Bravely Default grindy.
Yeah.
It's grindy in a, geez, man, do you really have to go that far grindy? It's that type of grindy, not Bravely Default grindy, which is a completely different animal indeed.
And of course, if you remember right, that they have different levels of grinding.
Well, I mean, there's different types of grinding, but this isn't like, oh my god.
As in how you want your encounter rate.
Yeah, this is not like, oh my god, this is unholy. It's like, okay, this is not the greatest grindiness, but it's not the worst either. It's just, you know.
It's okay.
So, damn, messed up my reputation. Now I got to pay 10K to get it fixed. Ugh. Damn you! Damn you!
And then say I'm a cheapo, so I'll be the type to be like, oh, if I fail too many times, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna save. And and if I fail too many times, like, oh, let me reload this save file.
Well, I mean, you make money really easy in this game, especially if you have Tressa in your party. Like, Tressa is ridiculous for making money because basically it makes enemies drop more gold in every battle. It's it's kind of like you just go to a cave and you grind, and while you're grinding, you make a lot of money. So it's
you go to a different room. Then all of a sudden, the game becomes Ursula from Little Mermaid. Those poor, unfortunate souls. You got their money. Like, okay.
Give me this stuff. Give it to me. I'm stealing all your shit, lady. It's kind of bad, but you know. But overall, yes, the game is very well made. I wish more people would make games like this.
I feel like I feel like there's some franchise IPs that should get the Octopath treatment with like the graphics and stuff. 2D Mario.
What did you say? Paper Mario or?
I said 2D Mario.
Nah.
Hey man, Mario World is like 28 years old, and that's age. And look how well that aged compared to like New Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, but I mean, graphics were never the strong point of a Mario game.
It was always the gameplay.
Yeah, it's the gameplay. Like, you might not like New Super Mario Brothers 2, but the gameplay is still solid because it's designed to be very solid.
Yeah. Yeah, no going through the floor here. Oh, that's crappy level design that plays some platforms I played.
Although I would love to see a Paper Mario game made in this format. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well, they did with Super Paper Mario.
Oh god, no. I hate that game.
Oh man.
But people praise it for its story.
Yeah, like Super Paper Mario is in like an interesting like place where it's like when it comes to Paper Mario fans, it's like half and half. So, like half liked it, the other half didn't. But it's like that in between before
Here's what I'll say about Super Paper Mario.
Sticker star and the color splash.
Here's what I'll say about Super Paper Mario. The gameplay was good. The story, the gameplay was solid, but Super Paper Mario wasn't a good Paper Mario game. Like it didn't feel like a Paper Mario game. It didn't play like a Paper Mario game. It wasn't a Paper Mario game, and I'm okay with that. But I mean, like, we deserved better for a Paper Mario game. Like, basically, in my opinion, and I know this is gonna sound really bad, but
yeah.
Paper Mario's been going down since Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, I feel like yeah.
I'm sorry. It's
No, it's fine. It's fine.
like Super
you can
Paper Mario had a good story. It did. The story was really good. It's one of the darkest stories I've seen in a Paper Mario game. But then the gameplay, I mean, where's your party members? Where's time to attack? None of that shit's there. Then you get Sticker Star, which was shit. Let's just keep it real. Sticker Star was shit.
But it did bring back the timed attacks.
No, not really, no. Sticker Star's big hook, time to attack was kind of like like it was barely there, if at all. The big thing in Sticker Star was that you could use stickers, and the stickers could be used in order to that was your special attacks. That's how you used attacks and stuff. And it was kind of like, like let me put it this way: in Thousand Year Door, you could use time to attack in order to counter enemies. And if you did a perfect counter, it would do damage to the enemy. So basically, if you were really good at Thousand Year Door, like there's this enemy in the beginning of the game that's like this called Crawdaddy, that like the dude has like 10 HP and his hits do like 8 damage. So after 2 hits, even if you block, your ass is either dead or damn near dead. But if you know how to perfect counter, you could beat him early in the game and get to the other side of town and get a lot of get some stuff early. Like that's gone in Sticker Star. It's just it's like Paper Mario for dummies or babies, for lack of a better term. And then you get time
to Yep, Color Splash.
And then you get Color Splash, which some people love. I personally think Color Splash is meh.
It's a lot better than Beepin' Sticker Star. That's for Beepin' sure.
Yeah, it's better than Sticker Star, but that's like saying, okay, if Sticker Star was a kick in the nuts, then Color Splash is like getting punched in the throat. Now, in a perfect world, I wouldn't be getting punched anyway, but I would take
I consider a slap in the face than a kick in the balls.
I would rather take a punch in the throat than a kick in the crotch. You know what I'm saying? Because if someone tries to punch me in the throat, I can dodge it. I can slap their hand out the way. I can grab their hand and put their arm in a crossbar. You know, I can do a lot of things out of it.
Sticker Star is a kick in the balls. I consider Color Splash a slap in the face.
You know, because I mean, Color Splash is not bad, but once again, where are the party members? Where's the depth? I mean, it's like they haven't learned their lesson, and they still keep on trying to dumb down Paper Mario for the average common denominator gamers who don't give a shit about it.
Or probably they wanted to differentiate it from the Mario and Luigi RPG games,
which are already for little kids. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's the game that's like really easy for anybody. Because if you can't beat one of those games, they've gotten easier as time has gone on. Like literally, like the first Mario and Luigi game was kind of hard. The second one, Partners in Time, parts of it were insane. Bowser's Inside Story was fun, and then they did
Dream Team.
Dream Team. Now, Dream Team is a little bit easier than Bowser's Inside Story. Like if you play them back to back, which I've done because I have both those games, like it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier to get into. The button inputs are less laggy and a little bit more forgiving. So if you miss the time perfectly, you still can get it. But damn, Paper Jam is shit. First of all, it's too damn easy. I beat that game, and I didn't even find all the shit in it. It's like I beat it really quickly. That game is too easy. So I don't know where they can go from there. Like they're making both of their RPG franchises too goddamn easy. As a matter of fact, most of Nintendo's RPG franchises are getting too easy, Fire Emblem included.
So now you're talking like those Pokemon fans who are complaining about the modern day Pokemon games being too easy, and they want them to be as hard as Dark Souls.
Well, I mean, they're more accessible, but Fire Emblem has been getting too easy. Like when I say too easy, I mean like, okay.
You mean like the base game compared to like the
base game? Like, okay, I remember when weapons broke. I remember when you had permadeath permanently. I remember when, like, now it's like if you don't have the game on hard difficulty, characters don't stay dead. Weapons don't break in the newest Fire Emblem game. Now in Fire Emblem Awakening, now in that game, yeah, weapons broke, and you did. You had the if you played the game on normal difficulty, not the easier one, you had permadeath. But I mean,
it still has the difficulty option as well as echoes.
I mean, I just find that Nintendo, like, sometimes you make shit so accessible for everybody that you lose your core fan base. Because it's like Nintendo forgot the 80-20 rule, which 80% of your business comes from 20% of your audience for a lot of your stuff, and not vice versa.
Now you see.
This is more on
how
Intelligent Systems doing rather than Nintendo EAD.
Intelligent Systems is a first party studio. If they do it, I'm putting it on all of them.
I'll say now you see how I feel about more of the recent 2D Mario offerings.
Yeah, the 2D Mario games aren't that good these days. I mean, they're not terrible, but
I feel like there needs to be like a difficulty setting. Like, the reason I say that because it used to be where like the newer games and Mario 3 here in the US, it's like, you take damage, you lose Fire Mario, you become regular Super Mario, then you take it again, you become small, then death. But in Mario 1, Land 1, and World, it was like, I'm wearing the cape, but if I take damage, it don't have a item observed box, I go back to small. So that's what I mean, like a difficulty setting, kind of like that, like hit points, like.
But Super Mario World is like one of the easiest 2D Mario games ever made. So I don't know. I don't understand the complaints about recent 2D Mario games being too easy.
It's because how many? They
the gameplay design. It's the gameplay design. The gameplay design is too easy.
They pretty much give away one-ups like it's candy.
Yeah, like at the end of Super Mario Land on the NES, New Super Mario Brothers. On New Super Mario Brothers, at the end of that game, I had maxed out lives, which is kind of weird for a Mario game. And then Mario 2, New Super Mario Brothers 2, which is not. Listen, the core gameplay of that game works. The problem is that they didn't really add anything new except for the gold coins and the gold power up, which was kind of like lazy a little bit. But the core gameplay works.
Had they gotten rid of the life system, then it would have. Then New Super Mario Brothers 2 would have worked better.
Not really. I think New Super Mario Brothers would have worked if they had given you the ability to care. If they had given you the ability to, like, I don't know how to fix that game.
Get a one up life after 100 coins.
No, I don't know. That game was still kind of easy. It's fun. It's like, I'm gonna keep it real. My favorite modern New Super Mario Brothers game is actually the one on the Wii U. I like the level design in that game is really fun. To me, that's my own little personal opinion. I know some people are gonna get mad and be like, "How dare you?" Especially when they brought back Giant Land, which I thought was really cool because Giant Land was always one of my favorite levels. Even though I'm not a Mario 3 fanboy, I love Giant Land because it's so weird.
Yeah, it was pretty cool
to fight giant Koopas and giant Goombas and shit. That's just really neat.
I think the only some stuff can still work, some others can. Like, I feel like most people, when it comes to like Star Fox, it's like people think that the way 64 did it doesn't work in this day and age. I don't know. Some people say it does. Some people say it doesn't because how arcadey it is.
I disagree because I never even liked Star Fox 64. I know a lot of people love that game, but I don't.
I meant like SNES. You know, that SNES era kind of gameplay style. SNES 64 and Assault had.
I think you could do a modern. Like, here's the thing. The problem is that most of the games during the 4th and 5th gen, especially the marquee games that people really like to think about with Nintendo, were made to highlight certain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so yeah, yeah. I meant to say, the Star Fox Zero because how it uses that, how
They
it
were
uses the arcade like style,
Yeah,
like rail
basically
shooter.
they were designed to push a gimmick.
Yeah.
And I mean gimmick in the denotative sense of what a gimmick is, which is just
Yeah.
basically an interesting hook used to get people into a certain type of game. Like it was designed to do that.
So that's on like some people think that pretty much on rail shooters don't really work in 2000 in this decade of gaming and stuff.
I wouldn't say that. I would just the only thing that brings the problem with Star Fox Zero was just like a lot of people didn't really know
How
how
to
to make
work
that
the
work.
controls.
No, they didn't know how to make that shit work.
Yeah. So I mean, I bring it up because the whole Starlink thing and how it has Fox in the game on the Switch version now. Everyone's claiming, "Oh, hey, this is the Star Fox we want." I'm like, that's not a Star Fox game.
I thought it was. I thought it was Star Fox Assault that that it was the Star Fox thing that they wanted, even though they too bashed it for not being like Star Fox 64.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. Like I don't think Star Fox 64 is that good of a game. Like I'm not like one of the Star Fox 64 it's so good. I'm like,
Hey, it's the memory that I got at least. It's not bad, but it's people for me.
I'm not into it. I don't like Star Fox 64. Of course, I mean you have to remember the first Star Fox I ever played was the original on the SNES, and I know, look, those graphics did not age, the gameplay didn't age, but for me when I play Star Fox, like Star Fox is basically a derivative of it's like what if we did a Star Wars game, but it was all space battles and ship battles with kick-ass 90s, late 80s synth pop rock soundtrack, which is what I want from Star Fox game. And then they fucked it all up with Star Fox 64, and they kept on doubling down on that same aesthetic over and over again. We're gonna make it to this epic opera. Why? It's supposed to be a shitty arcadey on rails shooter. Stop fucking it up. Stop it. Stop it. I just want to blow up people with awesome kick-ass music. And then they messed up the Corneria theme, which really pisses me off. And they haven't gotten it right.
These different composers.
Mm-hmm.
That's one reason.
Corneria sound music, which I don't like. I'm sorry, I fucking hate stuff like Corneria music.
Yeah, because Koji Kondo did the music for Star Fox 64, and it was Hajime Hirasawa that did the SNES soundtrack.
And I like the SNES soundtrack better. That's my thing. As a matter of fact, I probably would like Star Fox 64 if they kept the soundtrack, like from the SNES version and just orchestrated it. I'd probably like that better. Probably like I'll let it go because I like the music, but it's like I like the Corneria theme. Like that Corneria theme on the SNES version gets you pumped up to being an awesome game. And then you listen to the Corneria music on the 64 version, it's like
ensemble.
Okay. I'm not feeling it. I sound like Naruto. I'm not feeling it. Believe it. But that's just me. I know some people are going to get mad when they hear that because how dare they, but that's how I feel. So, we've reached the end of this. So what do you guys have to say, getting back to the main point, what do you guys have to say about Octopath Traveler? Not to be confused with the James Bond movie, Octopussy. So give your final thoughts about the game, and then we'll wrap things up.
Game is fantastic. Definitely enjoying it so far. And like I mentioned, I can't really find any flaws at the moment, but then again, I can't really give a review until after I beat the main story. So, and that's what I'll be like, okay, let me see what I liked about it, see what I didn't like about it, what could have been improved on, and then of course like give like a rating somewhat. At least I will rate a game on like Polygon.
The only thing I need in this, the only thing that's missing in this game is the naked dancing chick in the tavern like they had in Final Fantasy IV, which was censored out, pixelated naked dancing girl because children would be scandalized by 16-bit boobies.
They still get away with a lot in this game, though, like some of the content.
Oh yeah, I mean there's rape, there's murder.
Yeah, that's something like that stuff like 3D RPGs can't get away with that 2D style RPGs can.
Oh yeah, because of the nature of the beast, but
yeah. Like Final Fantasy VI. Well, how do we know we can't make children unless we try it ourselves? I'm like, yeah, y'all was fucking.
Basically, yeah.
Malden and Tara's mom.
yeah, which turns into a love story. It's like, how can we know unless we try ourselves?
Yeah.
But it's fairly interesting, fairly good. Kefka's crazy ass. So anyone else want to give their thoughts about the game before we wrap things up? Pinky?
Yeah. Well,
I'm good. So
I have to play the demo first before I can start playing the main games because I hear that any whatever you play on the demo transfers over to the main game.
Yeah.
And I want to do that.
Yeah, man, you get immersed. That's for sure. That's what happened to me, man. That's something I haven't really felt in a JRPG in a long time. That is the instant immersion I get. It's like I can't put this game down. That's
this game
now I have 21 hours put in. It don't even feel like it.
I've got a little bit less than that. I've got like 19, 20. So you can tell how much I've been playing this game. So yeah, this game is really good, and I wish more games were better. This is Scooby-Doo. Joel?
I enjoyed what I played so far, and if anything, I'm actually tempted to go for more.
Yep. Yeah. So I guess I'll give my final thoughts. This isn't a full review of the game. It's just giving our initial thoughts. I like it. I think it's very good. I wish more. I wish that this era of JRPGs didn't end. But unfortunately, Square Enix kind of lost their way.
Things up.
Especially the Square portion of it. This game feels like a lost Squaresoft RPG, and that's high praise. Okay, because Squaresoft used to be the princes of JRPGs. So that's what I got to say, and that's the end of the podcast. Thank you. Go to Video Game Facts, read Pinky Don's articles or Jules' articles. Sprite, where can they find you if they want to reach you?
Twitch. That's
right.
Pretty much what I do now.
That's right. He's got Twitch gameplay. I do not do Twitch. I stream on YouTube occasionally. I also have videos. Haven't been putting a lot of videos through the week, but I might start doing live streams where I'm talking over gameplay during the week at night because that's when I'm home. So look forward to that. And that's the end of this podcast. Thank you and enjoy. Good night.
Hyper responsibly.